So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 main tools that we use when we do interior cleanings. This is gonna apply here at the shop and in our mobile van. We just had a GNC Yukon beat dropped off where we're doing the interior cleaning, and I figured I would just go over the 3 big tools that we use. And again, if you've seen my latest videos, I talk about how I'm more focused on hardware and tools, not so much chemicals. So if we look over here, like we have a bunch of like interior cleaning products, right? But like chemicals themselves, as long as you choose it from a reputable quality brand, whether you get your carpet cleaner, your rinse, your APC, whatever, it's gonna work out. That's why I'm always more focused on hardware, tools, not so much chemicals. Okay, so one of the first one, and this is in no particular order, but the first thing that I'll mention is this air compressor. Sorry for a little bit of a mess back here. This is the DeWalt 27 gallon 225 psi air compressor. Now this one, we use it on a hose reel, so I'm not gonna turn it on because it'll be too loud, but we put this on a reel. Right now we have this air compressor thing on, but we actually primarily use the Vortex, which is also right here. So this is, we use this all the time. Like, this is a heavy used item here. So again, for both shop and mobile. If I turn it on, it's gonna be rather noisy, but we use this to blowing out the interiors, blowing out door panels, cleaning. This is a cleaning gun. So what we actually use this for is to clean. So we'll like spray APC on the door panels, the honeycomb, and we'll clean it with this. Like, we don't use a steamer. We can use a steamer, but we'll use this oftentimes just to blow everything out. So here, let me just. So this gets used a lot. The next tool, the next thing that we use is this vacuum. Now in the van, we have a 4-gallon vacuum, I think, from Rigid as well. What we want to do is swap out. We want to get another one of this one, but put it in the van, just because this one is way powerful than that smaller one. So this one, huge difference. Like when we're vacuuming out in the van versus vacuuming out here in the shop, and using this one, night and day difference. So I would recommend this one. I don't know much about vacuums, but this one is, obviously it's bigger. It has like 1 more horsepower, I believe, than the smaller one, but it's a big difference. Also, to be fair, with the one in the van, we have it on a 30-foot hose reel, so that's why we want to put this one in the van, or at least a bigger one or a stronger one, because the longer the hose is, the more you lose out on suction. So we want to, the big, so if you put a 5 horsepower vacuum in a van or on a hose reel, and it's 30 feet, let's say you lose like 50%, I'm just making up numbers, but 50% power, then you're at 2.5 horsepower. But if you put a 10 horsepower vacuum, I'm just making up numbers, and you lose 50% off of the 30-foot hose reel, then you still have 5 horsepower, right? So that's like, you want a stronger one when you have it on a hose reel, because you want to make up for the lost power in the length that you put in the air hose. Anyways, a big fan of this one. We have a bunch of attachments. The ones that I primarily use is just going to be this one. When needed, where needed, I will use this crevice one, but for me, 90% of the time, I am just using this one. I do like this little feature here because it does come in handy, actually. I don't know who uses this one. I mean, I don't even think Lex uses that one, but it's there because it came with it. We did get an extension, so it comes stock with like just this one. We purchased this extra hose. And again, it does help, like we don't move it that much around. Now, on a quick side note, this isn't really for interior cleanings, but to get the water out of the mats here that we use, we purchased this 16-gallon DeWalt vacuum. I think it's the same 5 horsepower, but it's 16 gallons versus 9 gallons. So this is just dedicated to getting the water off the mat. So the last thing that we'll talk about here is this is the first major purchase that we did when Lex and I joined up, and that was upgrading to the mighty HP 60 Spyder. Now the funny thing now is that we just upgraded it again to the Prospector 500. Now this one it has a heating element, but we moved this one to the shop. Now any extractor is gonna work, whatever we use. We've used the AquaPro vac. We have a spotter there that works fine. But the reason why we dropped the mighty the Spyder 60, the HP 60 Spyder, from the van to the shop is because the Prospector 500 is substantially stronger, larger, powerful than this one. And because, again, same concept with the vacuum, to where when you put it on a hose reel, you lose suction and lift and all that with 30 feet of hose length. Even with the loss of power due to the hose length, it's still stronger than this extractor. So we put it on there because we needed that extra power to still be strong enough in the field. This one, we're gonna cut 5 feet off the 30-foot hose here, around, or like 27 feet. We're gonna cut 5 feet because we don't need it to be that long since we're here. It's mobile, we can move it around. But I remember when we first purchased this, we're like, whoa, this is so cool. But it's actually like, this is 5 gallons of container, which the Aqua was like 1.5 gallons. And a big reason why we upgraded to the Prospector 500 is because the Prospector 500 can hold 11 or 12 gallons of water versus this that can only hold 5 gallons. And for us, like, it's a big deal to have to stop, turn off the extractor, dump the water out, refill it, and start again. Like, we want to avoid that as much as we can. So that's why we went from the 1 gallon, 1.5 gallon from Aqua to the 5 gallon, the HV60 Spyder, to the 12 gallon of the Prospector 500. Like, it's a big deal to keep on stopping, especially when we're out in the field and we have to do so many things. If the fewer times that we have to stop, the better. But anyways, this is here at the shop. Again, the same things apply in the mobile van. In the mobile van, we have the 4.5 rigid air compressor. We have the smaller rigid vacuum, and we have the larger Prospector 500 in the van, but it's the same things for both of them. And actually, another big deal that we have is this Sapphire Scientific upholstery tool. This one is a huge deal on interior cleanings. It doesn't make a mess. It dries the seat faster. It sucks up the water better. Like this one, compared to the OEM that most extractors come with, right? Like the Aqua, like the Mighty, usually 100% of them don't come with this one. But making this upgrade, now they're like on the Prospector 500, we have a PSI regulator on the extractor. With this one, doesn't have a PSI regulator, so we have it here on the wand, on the hose, to where just depending on what you're cleaning, adjusting the PSI is helpful. A bit overkill for most detailers, yes, but for us, for what Lex wanted, this is what he wanted, so that's why we went with all those things. But this here, the Sapphire Scientific upholstery tool is a night and day difference to any wand that you can use. Again, I'm big on hardware tools. I don't care about some innovative APC that you just purchased because it's just APC. Every APC is just about the same thing, but tools, hardware, that's where things can change. And the last thing here is we have the AquaPro Steamer at the shop. This is $400 and something. Great little steamer. I have a few reviews on it. Great little steamer. But again, we have the Pro 6 Dual, Pro Dual 6 or 6 Pro Dual in the van. But that's the main thing. Of course, you already know what we use the steamer for. So we have the air compressor, the vacuum, the extractor, and the steamer in both the shop and van that we use consistently on just about every interior cleaning that we do. Now, please keep in mind, all right? I don't want you to be like, well, Oscar spent $2,400 on that Prospector 500. I guess I gotta save up for that. Oh, Oscar purchased a $1,700 HV60 Spyder. I guess I need that. No, started off with no extractor, then went up to the Aqua, and then we got the Mighty, and then we got the Prospector. Same thing with a steamer. I didn't start off with a steamer. I started off with just brushes. Then I got the McCulloch 1385, and then we got the VX 5000. And then we got the AquaPro, and then we got the Pro Dual 6. So everything is a process. Don't be like, oh, well, he said he really recommends that one, so I need to get that vacuum. It's like, no, you purchase the best that you can within the budget that you're allowed, based on the customers that you get. So if you have a $5,000 budget, but you have 0 customers, there's no need for you to spend $1,700 or $1,400 on an extractor, right? Whereas if you have $500 on a budget, and the best that you could buy is a McCulloch 1385 steamer, which is $200, and you have the customers that warrant a steamer, then it makes sense to get that steamer, right? So don't go off of ego, don't go off of what looks cool, don't go off of like, oh, but I'd rather buy nice once to not buy twice, or whatever that saying goes. Like, no, you buy based off of the customers, your budget, and what you can afford, or customers and budget, that's it. So don't be like, oh, Oscar said, no, don't do that. I'll have everything linked down below that I use, but at the price points that they are, you only get them when your business justifies that price. So I'll end it right here. Again, check the description box down below for the links my ultimate guide to start your detailing business guide, and my podcast, the Detailing Business Class podcast. We're actually averaging around like 900 listens now, or downloads, which is weird. Like no one downloads it, they just listen to it and it counts. I don't know, but we're around like 900 downloads per episode now. So I want to get that up to like 1,000, 1,100. So check out my podcast, which is on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Amazon, and all that. I'll talk to everyone on the next one.